not everybody in Mexico has the best technology. Not everybody in Mexico has 8 international accreditations.
As you mentioned, I think that same thinking that you're in Mexico, the quality is not as good. It pushes us to always have the top-notch technology so the patients can actually see that.
It's like we're underdogs.
Yeah, always. And we're always extra motivated. Let's say on a worst case scenario, we're doing about 20 to 30 implants a week, each doctor here.
That they come in and they say, I need a deep cleaning.
I was about to touch that.
I need a deep cleaning. And you're just like, okay, well, let's take some x-rays. And they say, oh, no, you just need a cleaning. But no, they told me I needed a deep cleaning. Well,
why?
I don't see that, He said, hey, you can't be as good as a clinic in the United States. You got to be better. Hello, welcome back to Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. My name is Frank Navarro. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Listen, you can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, we also have a phone number and email address. You can send us all your questions, your concerns. Remember, this podcast was meant for you, our patient. And today we got Dr. Elias here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Frank. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. And I'm ready to get today's podcast going.
Let's go.
It's one of the things that we encounter a lot, and we're going to go straight into this because there's a lot of information, is when a patient comes from the United States.
Right.
One of the main things in their heads already, I don't know if it's planted from their dentist back at home. Most of the time, I think it is. But they think that coming to Mexico, they're going to pay less, but they're going to get less quality. So automatically they're like, well, I know it's not going to be the same as I was going to get in the United States, but, I can't afford it in the United States. So that's why I'm here with you. And that's one of the couple things that I want to talk about because what do you think?
We get that a lot, right? We get that a lot. Just because Mexico is a third world country, right? They believe that what we do is not top quality. I would differ. We use the same materials, we use the same implants, and we study the same thing. I truly believe this, that our quality can be better because of the experience that we get. I think dentistry, it's in the medical field, but most of the dentistry, it's practical. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of
hands-on
it's a lot of a hands-on experience, and I think because of how many patients we see, especially here at Supreme, and as I was mentioning it before, I can see the difference between me from when I started to me now. With all this experience that I've gained, I think I'm a far better doctor than what I could have been back then. And I think the quality of the procedures that we do here are better because we have a lot of experience, and we have all the specialties here in one place, and we brainstorm a lot. We pick each other's brain, and we get the best out of each other to give a better treatment to our patients.
So when you said that you have a lot more practice, a lot more repetition, what do you mean by that?
Let's say on a worst case scenario, we're doing about 20 to 30 implants a week, each doctor here. So with that, of doing the same thing over and over, we can actually see where we can actually get better, and we make it better. So this is a lot of hands-on experience. It's very practical, it's very mechanical. So the treatments that we do are far better. And what I mean by that is that maybe here we have more patients and we can practice more. It's just like playing sports. The more you do it, the better you get. The timing, everything gets better. And sometimes in other places where they don't have the same number of patients that we have, maybe their techniques or whatever they do, it's a little bit more shakier than we do.
Talk to me about technology. So we mostly get patients that when they see about the digital x-ray, when they see the different techniques, the digital scanning, and obviously things that are coming down, and we'll talk about those later, they say, I don't even see that back home. And we're getting patients from New York, we're getting patients from Florida, from Seattle, from different Texas, and they're saying, my dentist doesn't have this type of technology.
Right.
How much does technology help you guys out?
And as you've seen, I think technology has far made us better, right? But because what we do now is we can actually take the patient digitally and show it to the lab, so they can actually design things according to the patient, their what we call a facial generated dental treatment, right? The shape of your teeth, the length of your teeth are all going to be dictated by your smile, which we can now take with pictures, with scans, and by the person's shape of their face. Because sometimes you look at somebody and you're like, hey, their smile looks really good, but you can't really tell what it is, right? People that are not dentists, right? And that's because the shape of their face and the shape of their teeth are very great looking, right? But it's all because there's a lot of things behind it, a lot of geometry behind it. And with the digital things that we have, the pictures, the scanners, the new things that are coming up, we can give a more satisfying work. And not only them for the lab work, but for us as technology as well. Like for me as a surgeon, the programs that we have where we can actually show the patients where we want to place the implants, where the teeth are starting to fail. We can actually show them on a 3D scan with special programs where they have the infection, why we need sinus lifts. It's more visual for the patients as well, so they understand better of what's actually getting done. Because we have a lot of patients that come in and they're like, hey, I went back home and my doctor says I need this, that, and the other, but I have no clue what that means, right? Or sometimes I need angled implants, and we show them, hey, you know what? We're going to place the implants through here, and they actually get to see what we're going to do. We get to plan it out. And for me as a surgeon, I have a better understanding, a better idea of where I'm actually heading. And with the post-op CT scans, which we always take, we take before a CT scan and after a CT scan, we can actually see where our implants are placed, right?
Tell me, you went to a training in Spain.
Right.
In Canary Islands. And you met many dentists. You met dentists from all over the world, including the United States.
Right.
I believe you had a chat with one of them. What did he tell you about what you did? What did he told you about when you told him about the numbers you were doing?
He couldn't believe it. He thought I was crazy, and then he's like, oh, you're from Magallanes. So they know, right? They know that there's competition, and there's really good competition here because they've seen our work, and they know it works. And they know that the hands-on experience that we're getting really competes with anybody in the world, definitely. And technology, as you've mentioned, I think that same thinking that you're in Mexico, the quality is not as good, it pushes us to always have the top-notch technology so the patients can actually see that.
It's like we're underdogs.
Yeah, always. And we're always extra motivated. We're always extra motivated.
Yeah.
We give it 110%, always.
And one of the agencies that we work with, actually his name is Paul. He's the CEO from Dental Departures. He actually told me, he said, hey, you can't be as good as the clinic in the United States. You got to be better. Because people are always comparing, and they feel that because they are in the United States, they're better. And that's not always the case. There's great dentists everywhere.
Right. But
we work faster, like you said. And due to the pricing, we have a lot more patients coming in.
Right.
And not just because of the pricing, because patients like to do their research also. It's not like they're going to a place, behind an alley, mom and pop shop, they just open the clinic. We have 8 international accreditations. So it's the most than any other clinic in Mexico. And I bet you that a lot of these clinics in the United States don't even have those 8 international accreditations that are actually from where they're from. It's from the United States.
Welcome to Children's Dental Facts. Did you know that your teeth are as unique as your fingerprints? You heard it first at Supremedental Podcast. If you didn't know, well, now you know.
I feel that we don't stop going. So tell me about the technology that we have. Is it technology that's based off of Mexico, or where are we getting our technology from?
We're getting our technology from all over the world, right? Not just here in Mexico. I think the scanners, I don't think. The scanners that we have, they're Korean. They're one of the 2 top leading brands in the world. And we have the top of the line scanners here with us. Those are the ones that, instead of taking impressions, things can go wrong, right? The impression wasn't taken properly. Maybe something got mixed in the lab.
Yeah, man errors.
Yeah, man errors. We're eliminating that we're actually getting your scan of your mouth, your actual mouth at the moment, into a computer where they're actually going to design the crowns to fit properly there, right? We're also, well, we have something coming up.
Yeah, we have something coming up, and I'll give you guys a quick little about it. It's 99.9% precise, making it the number one impression taker in the world.
Right.
And it doesn't come from Mexico or the United States. It actually was developed in Spain. So in a little bit, it'll be here at Supreme.
Right.
And it'll be definitely a game changer. I've seen that there's patients that have a big mouth but a little face.
Right.
So then I seen the work from not just the United States but from other places. And we're not talking bad about the United States at all. There's great dentists everywhere. But patients that do come from the United States or from Canada, normally they say, well, I'm going to not get something that's good, and I know, but I can't pay for whatever it was back home. But I've noticed patients that normally come in from those places, they have big teeth. And then they have a little face, so it kind of makes it look uneven,
Right.
So with this new technology, we're doing teeth that are meant for them.
Right.
Not just for their mouth, but for them. So that speaks volumes. Now, training-wise, there's a lot of great dentists. Actually, you met a couple of dentists from the United States. And if I'm not mistaken, without saying names, the doctor actually invited you to go over where he's at.
Right.
And then you told me about it. And you said, hey, he invited me. And I said, that's awesome. To me, that's great recognition. And I said, well, why don't you invite him to come over here and let him know what we do? And then he told you, hey, I'll probably go over there too. Let me go over there because I want to see how everything is done over there when he heard your numbers.
Right. Yeah.
So there is dentists that we have that we work with in the United States that send us patients when the patients cannot pay for the procedure over there. And I think that's very admirable. It's like the same thing as when somebody comes in here and we cannot help them.
Right.
And we tell them, you know what? You're looking for zygomatics, and that's your only option. We're not that option, we're not that option yet. But there is other places in other clinics that perhaps can do it. And we let the patient know, you got to do your research. We can't let them know where because we don't know how good they are. It's not, we're not doing that research, but they can do the research. And we let them know there's more out there. It's not like, oh no, you're screwed. It's not going to work out. That's it. You go home, cry, wear dentures for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah. We try to avoid zygomatics as much as possible. And I think with the new techniques that we've been trained to do, the palatal approach, pterygoid implants, transnasal implants, I think many of the patients that before we couldn't see, we're actually starting to see. I think this year we've only seen one patient that we couldn't do. That's only one, and we see a lot of patients for all on four. It
was the one with the zygomatics.
Yeah, and that was like her last option.
And she actually said she was going to wait for us to be able to do it.
That is correct. Yeah, she said that, and we've had a lot of patients where they come down and they don't stop just at this clinic. They go to other clinics and they're told that they need zygomatic implants, and we see the CT scan and we're like, no, there's other things that we could do. We could do palatal approach, things that are not as invasive, and we've seen that as well, that a lot of things that are going around that we can actually resolve because we're getting training from all over the world to look. We do all the same thing, but to just give it a different point of view and to do it a different approach, and it's given us great results.
I think it's very smart for patients that are going to come down to Los Algodones or anywhere in Mexico and they're going to make the investment to have two clinics. Have the clinic that you've done your research, and then have another clinic also, because if that first clinic tells you you can't do it, that doesn't mean you can't do it. Maybe it's out of their reach. Maybe it's out of their comfort zone. Maybe it's out of their training.
Right.
Technology. Not everybody in Mexico has the best technology. Not everybody in Mexico has 8 international accreditations. Everywhere has to run their own race. Everywhere in the United States, like I said, there's great dentists. You're a fan of a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I think there's great doctors anywhere you go in the world, but you just really got to do your research and say exactly where you're going to go. But what does it make you feel as a dentist? Getting a little bit more personal here.
Mm-hmm.
When I sit down in your chair and I tell you, you look at the CAT scan, you see the different options that person has, and then they tell you, well, my doctor in the United States didn't say that.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Every day.
Yeah, and it's extra motivating, right? Because I have to give it a little extra and actually show them why we want to do something. Why? Because I'm not going to do something that someone else said if I don't believe that's right.
Yeah, that's not what you went to school for. I tell everybody, we're not order takers.
Right.
We have the technology here to see perhaps what they didn't see, and we're going to let you know what you need, what we see you need. We're not going to work on what somebody else says you needed.
Right. And we're going to show them why. We're going to show them other cases of other people that we treated. We have pictures, CT scans. We have a lot of documentation on different procedures that we've done with similar cases, and we can actually show them why we want to do that. I'm really competitive, right? And that always gets me when my doctor said this.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I have a different opinion, and I'm going to show you why I have a different opinion. I'm going to show you our cases. We're going to show you why we want to do this way. And most of the time, once we show them the technology, the pictures, the CT scans, we're able to actually home them in on what we want to do.
And that's very important, because a lot of our patients, they said, well, they told me I needed this. And then you ask them, why?
Right.
And they have no idea.
Right.
It's because my doctor told me that this is what I needed and this is what I can get done. But did he explain to you why? No. Did you even take a look at the CAT scan? No. Then how do you know 100% that that's actually what you need?
Right.
And we notice a lot in the United States also, they work with financing. We have financing here also. We work with a company that has over 80 different banks that back us up. But over there is mostly financing. So it's like I'm not going to say it's a dental business. The dental clinic, I mean, if we weren't making money, we wouldn't be able to pay for the lights. We wouldn't be able to pay for none of this, right?
Right.
But when it's a medical business. But when the business takes over the medical, then it just becomes a business. And we see that all the time when people come in with these estimates, $70,000, $60,000, $85,000. I think the most expensive one I've seen has been like $107,000, $120,000. I'm not sure. It's ridiculous. Like I could do that, or I can give myself a new G class. Like it's pretty crazy, So, and then they come here and we let them know, oh, well, it's this, and they're just like, what? Well, how many people do we get? And I'm gonna do like a graph on this, that they come in and they say, I need a deep cleaning.
I was about to touch that. Yeah.
I need a deep cleaning. And you're just like, okay, well, let's take some x-rays. And they say, oh, no, you just need a cleaning. But no, they told me I needed a deep cleaning. Well,
why?
I don't see that. I'm taking the x-rays. I don't know. That's what my doctor said. Can you do a deep cleaning? We're like, no, we're not going to do deep cleaning. We could do a cleaning, which you just saved a bunch of money, but you don't need it. It's like me going over and saying, hey, I need to get surgery on my wrist. And you're just like, no, you just sprained, no, I need surgery. I need you to cut me open. You're just like, what's going on?
Right.
What do you think what do you tell the patients? What do you tell the patients right now on that camera right there that you have? What do you tell the patients that think that by coming to Mexico, they're not getting what they deserve because they cannot pay 50, 60, 70, 85,000, or they don't want to pay that because then it puts them to, maybe they got to sell something, their car, their house.
Yeah.
How many patients do we get, people that said, I lost my significant other and I want to be able to smile. And I've lived in the shadows for so long or whatever. Like, what do you tell those patients that think that just because we're in Mexico, we don't have the training, the tools, the skills to be able to help them just as good, if not even better, than their dentist back home?
I think the first thing that you should do, as Frank mentioned, is do your research. There's great dentists all over the world, but I think especially here in Los Algodones, with the kind of experience that we've have, the kind of training that we have, the kind of technology that we have, for us here at Supreme as dentists, having you and Aida, we always come with ideas to you, and we explain the ideas, and we always get the support back. So, and we're really happy with that.
Thank you.
Because we're able to work properly. We're competing with the best clinics in the world as far as technology, experience, and training. Just because you're in Mexico, you're probably thinking, well, I'm paying less, so the quality is less, but I think that is not true. What happens is that here in Mexico, life is cheaper, but we have used the same brands of implants, the same zirconium, the same peak materials. We actually, the same bone graft, we get them from the United States.
We get Salvin, which comes from North Carolina.
So it's just the same thing. I have patients where I actually have to take them to the lab so I can show them how the designer's actually designing the teeth in their face on the computer. Then we take them to the mills, and they actually see how the zirconium is getting milled. And they're top-notch guys because this is what they do, right? It's a lot of experience that we have. Here at this clinic, we have an advantage that most of our doctors do all-on-4 surgery or implant surgery or full mouth restorations, and we have a great environment here. We don't compete with each other, against each other. We're always trying to help each other out. And I think that's what has made us different here in Supreme Dental from other clinics in Los Algodones, is that the culture here is all for the patient, and we're not just trying to be individuals that try to grow by themselves.
That I couldn't have said that better. I couldn't agree with you more. One thing is also adding to that is we have the best warranty. They can't compete with our warranties. Who gives lifetime warranty on zirconia crowns? Who gives lifetime warranty on their implants? For us to be able to do that, that means that we know that we have top technology. We know that we work with Straumann, which is the best from Switzerland and the number one implant in the world. If you look at a couple of our videos that we have on Instagram, we get numerous awards. We get trainings that they come down and they do a training at a university in Baja California, Mexicali, which is one of the tops in Mexico for dental.
Right.
And then they come to us and they do a training here and then they're gone. You know, and we get numerous awards. For the first time, I was told by one of the representatives, George from Straumann, that the award was given to a clinic, not just to a doctor, because we have so many doctors here that utilize Straumann. Then we have Implanted that comes from Israel, you know, and they're a growing company that's about to open up a place in Florida. And there's so many things that we do throughout to be able to give the patients the best, not just experience, but the best work possible at the cheapest price. Because I'm not a dentist. I've never said I'm a dentist. So I'm a dentist. I'm not a dentist. I'm a business owner. My wife and I, we're all about business. And some people don't understand that if we drop our prices, we might not be making as much in an implant, but we're going to sell multiple implants and we will make the money back like that or more money. And that helps our patients out to be able to, instead of coming in for 2, 3, maybe they needed 5, 6, you know, it works out.
Right.
And we're very blessed to have, be inside of a place of a Plaza Guadalajara, which is, I'm going to say 300 feet from the border, 350 feet. And then we have a hotel that we work with, Baja Resorts, that it's also owned by the family, and nobody parties there or anything like that. It's just for people that do dental. So, you know, I've had many friends that had surgery in other places, and a lot of the times is, well, you come in and then certain doctor sees you, and then you're going to go to somebody else's office, and your appointment is going to be in 2 weeks, and then you're going to go here, and then your appointment is going to be in a week, and you just keep on going and going and going and going. And here, no matter what is thrown at you, within 8 days, 9 days, I believe we've been able to handle anything. Some things in 3 days, 4 days, some things in a little bit longer. With new technology coming in, I think it's going to drop down the days to 4 or 5, no matter what they're throwing at us. And we're always trying to invest in what's the best. And for that, we have to thank you, and we have to thank the team. You brought a lot of technology when you came in. You made us spend a lot of money. Thank you. and you brought a lot of but see, the thing is we're the type of my wife and I, we're the type of people that if you tell us, hey, you know what, there's this technology that's good, well, we're going to do the research to see if there's something better on the same range, but but the best.
Right.
Because we don't want to. It's good to be good, but we want to be great. So if there's something that wireless scanner that is pretty good, but we want to get the best and wireless, so it's easier for you guys to work. And we don't want to get one, we want to get two.
Right.
And that's one thing that we're always doing, and we're always investing. You got to invest to make money. That's everybody knows that has a business. And we invest on you guys. You know, we invest on you guys. Let us know, and my wife and I sit down. We normally go driving. You know, that's one of the things that we do is we brainstorm when we drive. So I have a little boy, I have a little girl, and my little girl's 10. My little boy is 4, and we get a McDonald's. This is not a commercial. And we go driving around. And while we're driving around, we're talking about new ideas. I've been driving around. George is right now behind the cameras. He's falling asleep. But George, I've been driving. One time we drove from LA to Vegas because my father-in-law was going to go on this pool tournament. And he didn't know we were going to show up. And on my way over there, it was snowing. It was the first time in I don't know how many years that it snowed on that place. And there was a lot of traffic. It was warning signs everywhere. And when we were driving, it just came up with this idea. And I told my wife, hey, call George on WhatsApp. She calls George, and I'm like, hey, George, what's up? He's like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, man, I just got this idea. Picture this. Blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, oh, man, that sounds great. And these ideas just pop up, and we are blessed to work with people that we said an idea, and they're just like, well, let's do it. Like the podcast. You know, the podcast, George called me one day, and he's like, hey, man, I think that my wife had told me before about doing this type of interactions and all that good stuff. And it was left in the back burner. And then George tells me about the podcast, and my wife listens to podcasts, and then she was like, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And we start working in the walls, the wallpaper. My wife didn't like it. We changed the wallpaper, the logo fell. We had to do another thing with the logo. The table, we didn't like the top. We changed everything. The lights, the cameras. There's a timer that's telling me how long I've been talking. I've been talking for quite some time. We're about to leave. But when we did all that, then at the end I was like, oh wait, I'm the host. Yeah, but to that point I'd never seen a podcast in my life. And then my wife puts a podcast so I can watch, and I was sick at the time, and I watched it, and it was good. And then I started listening to Joe Rogan, and I seen that there's not a script. They just go on and they talk about what they know, and they just have fun with it, and that's what makes it natural. And that's what I try to do with this podcast.
Yeah.
We don't try to BS. Nothing is scripted, guys. Seriously, sometimes we sit down here and we say, what are we going to talk about? Well, this is one of the topics. All right, let's go at it. And we're just going to roll with the punches because we know what we're talking about. We don't have to improvise and lie. You know, we're going to tell you just like it is, just like if we were talking to our friends, and we're going to let them know exactly what our opinions are and all that good stuff. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah.
We don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, we have a phone number, we have an email. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram also. We're at Supreme Dental Clinic. We have a lot of cool videos there with Dr. Elias putting that Supreme magic and all that good stuff there. And thank you for watching Supreme Dental, where smiling starts here. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.